Kidsway, what's up guys? Hey, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to our space here on YouTube or on the website or wherever you're finding us. Hey, I'm really glad that you guys are here and decided to spend your day and your time with us in another week in our series called Rules for Life. Today marks week number 3 in this series, and it's been an absolutely amazing series. And actually, it's been so cool that I think in week number 1, like if we ever did something to where we had a big answer that lasted all year long, week number 1 would really pretty much take the cake on that big answer for us. Do you remember what it was? It was love God and love others. That is going to be something that we'll be bringing up throughout the entire year. But that's just a little testament to how amazing this series has been. And today in week 3, we got a brand new big answer that's just awesome. It's so good. And it is work hard. Yeah, that's it. Work hard. Plain and simple. Cut and dry. Or is it? Working hard, it sounds really simple, but just because it's simple doesn't mean that it's easy. And in today's Bible story, we're actually going to look at a passage in scripture from Proverbs chapter 6. We're going to talk about this passage and kind of something about what it says. We're going to dive into it and who said it, why he said it, and we'll get there in just a minute. But can you guys say our big answer with me before we go any further? Can you say work hard? Great job. One more time. Say work hard. Good deal. All right, so work hard. That's what we're gonna be focusing on throughout this whole series that has to do with responsibility. Yeah, responsibility is what we've been talking about. And maybe you've heard this word, but not really known exactly what responsibility looks like. And the way that we're thinking about responsibility is like this. It says, showing that you can be trusted with what's expected of you. That's right, showing that you can be trusted with what's expected of you. Are you expected to clean your room? Are you expected to be nice? Are you expected to brush your teeth? Yeah, all of those things, right? There's these little expectations all throughout our life, and responsibility is just showing that people, our parents, our teachers, our friends, and many others can trust us with those little things in our lives that we're responsible for. So, as I said, we're going to look in a way as how we can work hard with those things that we're responsible for in just a little bit. But before we get there, we're going to take some time and focus on Jesus. And the way that we're going to do that is by singing and dancing and praising his name. So Kidsway, would you stand up to your feet as we get ready to sing and dance and worship together?
You spoke a word and brought the world to light. Your voice still echoes through the darkest night. I could try my best to count the stars. Nothing could compare to who you are. With you, everything is brought to light. With you, everything comes back to life. You died to make me whole. I want the world to know. With you, nothing is impossible.
All right, friends, welcome back. And as we said earlier, you guys know we're in our series called Rules for Life. And today I want to tell you about a really important rule for life. Can you guess what it is? It's our big answer. You remember? Work hard. That's right, that's our big answer. Can you guys say that with me real fast? Say work hard. One more time, say work hard. Turn to your neighbor and say work hard. Great job. That's what we're gonna be learning about today, work hard. And we're gonna be learning that from one of the most wisest people in the Bible, and one of the wisest persons to ever live as it's recorded in the Bible. And he was just so happened to be king. His name was Solomon. He was David's son. And he was one of the wisest people to ever walk the face of this planet. And King Solomon, once he got king, the Lord spoke to him and said, Solomon, ask me for anything. And now, if you're put in this position and the Lord asks you for anything, like what's the first thing that pops into your mind? Ready, go, first thing. Yeah, mine was just like an endless lifetime supply of pizza. I don't know why that was the first thing that popped into my head, but that was the first thing that popped into my head. Maybe I'm hungry right now. Maybe I've got a pizza problem that I need to address. Either way, that was the first thing that popped into my head. What was the first thing that popped into your head? Cool. Check this out though. King Solomon asked for wisdom. That's right. King Solomon asked for wisdom. And can you guess what the Lord did? Yeah, the Lord gave it to him, and gave it to him so abundantly. He gave him so much wisdom that he was one of the wisest people to ever live. Not just the most wisest king, but one of the wisest people to ever live. And this was so amazing because all of his thoughts, well, not all of his thoughts, but most of his thoughts were recorded in a book in the Bible that we know as Proverbs. And that's what we're going to be looking at today for our passage. And we're going to be in Proverbs chapter 6. And in this proverb, we hear about an animal, or an insect to be more exact. And this insect is one that works hard. If you've ever seen this insect, they are always scurrying about, they're always running around, they're almost never holding still. And they kind of pack a nasty little sting. Can you guess which one it is? It's an ant. Yeah, this parable is one about ant. Or it's a proverb rather about an ant. Check this out. In Proverbs chapter 6, this is what we read. It says, Proverbs chapter 6, verse 6. Take a lesson from the ant, you lazy bones. In some other translations, it says sluggards. So take lessons from ants, you sluggards or lazy bones. Learn from their ways and become wise. Though they have no prince or governor or ruler to make them work, they labor hard all summer, gathering food for the winter. But you sluggards or lazy bones, how long will you sleep? When will you wake up? Proverbs chapter 6, and that's verse 6 through 8. It's an amazing proverb, and it tells us about an ant. It says to consider the ant. And the ant is a big deal because I like how it said, like, they don't really have anybody telling them what to do, right? But yet they're one of the most hardest workers in nature. Like, have you ever seen an anthill? Chances are you probably have, right? Here's another question. Have you ever kicked an anthill or like thrown something at it to knock it down? Don't lie. Yeah, I've done that too. And I probably shouldn't have because it was probably pretty mean to the ants. But either way, whenever that happens, whenever you see ants, all you see is them come together and band together, and you can knock down an entire anthill. And the very next day, chances are they're gonna have it built right back up to where it was, if not even bigger. And I don't know about you, but that sounds like some hard work, especially when you're like this big, to build something like a whole mound, a whole house. Could you imagine if somebody knocked down your house? How long do you think it would take you to put it back together? It'd probably take you longer than a day, right? These ants work incredibly hard. And this proverb says to consider the ant. They don't have anybody to tell them what to do, yet they work hard. And the entire time they're working, they're giving their best. I wouldn't really call ants lazy, but yet they work hard. They are diligent workers, and they work hard, and they give their best at whatever they're doing. Now, let's take and consider the other animal that was in our proverb. Did you catch it? Well, I guess it really wasn't like a animal per se, but the word that was used, and your translation might sound a little bit different, but it's right there in verse number 6, and it says this, it says, take a lesson from the ants, you sluggards, which also means lazy bones. But sluggards is a word that can be used for people who are lazy, don't want to do much of anything, just lay around all day. Sluggards, slugs, right. Like, have you ever seen a slug and how they just move so slowly and they're just moping around? They might not be moping around, but it looks like they're just moping along, just kind of going real slow, not really doing anything or building anything. They're just kind of along for the ride. Like, if you knock down the slug's house, like, chances are it's probably not going to get built back up. Like, I actually wonder where slugs live. Never had that thought before. But either way, it says, consider the ants, you sluggards. Now, if Solomon here is talking about sluggards and meaning lazy people, and he's talking about ants and people who work really, really hard, those are like complete opposites, right? Like, have you ever woken up and just had a day where you're like, I'm not doing anything today. I'm not going to school. I don't even want to get up and cook my own food. Mom, will you bring me pancakes? Like, I've woken up and felt like that. But I think those are the people that Solomon's talking about. I don't think he's talking about the people who just do it kind of like maybe one day in a long time. I think he's talking about people who are just always like that. People who are just lazy and mope around and don't want to work at anything or do anything. I think those are the people who Solomon's kind of mentioning here. And later on in that verse, he says that if you continue to be like this, that you'll never really get anything done. Your responsibility will never amount to anything. It'll be really hard for you to make a difference when it comes to anything because you would not have worked to accomplish anything, to build anything in your life. I think that's who Solomon was talking about when he mentions these sluggards or lazy bones. So think about the ant and think about the sluggard, right? Think about the slug rather. They're two different animals, two completely different things. One's an insect and one's I don't really know where or how you would classify a slug. If you know, hey, drop it down in the comments. Let us know if a slug is an insect or an invertebrate or an alien. I don't know. Whatever a slug might be, drop it in the comments. Let us know what you think it is or if you actually know what it is. But think about these two. Think about the ant and think about the slug and think about the person who they represent. The ant represents somebody who works really hard. And the slug represents somebody who just kind of wants to be lazy and do nothing all day, day after day after day after day. Think about those two. And think about this. I want to give you some scenarios. I want to kind of give you a couple different things. And I want you to kind of think about how these two types of people might respond or how they might react or just act in this situation. So the first scenario I want to give you is this. Imagine that your mom comes into your room and your room is a mess. Imagine your mom comes into your room and she says, hey, I need you to clean your room, okay? I'm gonna come back and check with you in just a little bit to make sure that it's clean. Now, if you're like the ant, what do you think you're gonna do to get your room clean? Yeah, you're gonna work hard and give it your best. That ant, that person who works hard is gonna do everything they can to actually like pick up the dirty dishes in their room and take them to the kitchen in the sink. And that ant is gonna go back and take the clothes and hang them up in their closet and fold them and put them in the drawers or maybe just put them in the dirty clothes so they can be washed later. Yeah, that person is gonna put back those toys and those books that have been laying on the floor for weeks. That's a really hardworking person. I think that person kind of more so represents the ant. But what about the person that represents the slug? What do you think they're gonna do in that situation? Chances are they're just gonna kind of maybe push everything underneath the bed or cram everything in the closet and just kind of make it look like everything is clean when nothing really got clean. More areas just got dirtier and some of the stuff is just out of sight and out of mind. I think those are the differences between those two types of people. But let's keep going. Let's give another scenario. Say you're at school and your teacher says, hey, I need you guys to finish this worksheet before the bell. And she hands out this worksheet and she says, go. So you've kind of had a tough night and maybe you didn't get a lot of sleep or maybe you don't know exactly how to do this worksheet. So what do you think the person that works as the ant does? I think the person that works as the ant gets to work on this worksheet. And maybe they don't know everything in this worksheet. So maybe they raise their hand and ask for help, like, hey teacher, or hey, can I get a friend that kind of can teach me a little bit? Not do it for me, but maybe can teach me a little bit and show me how to do this. But I think that person, like the ant, works really hard and does everything they can to get done what they can. Maybe they don't finish the entire worksheet, but nonetheless, that person works to do as much as they can because they're giving their best at it. But what about the slug? Yeah, the slug works a little bit different, right? The slug might just pop some headphones in and put up their hoodie and just kind of maybe pretend to be writing, but maybe they're drawing, and maybe they're poking a friend, trying to get a friend to do the work for them because they don't really want to put the effort in. They don't really want to put the work in. They don't want to ask for help on the things that they might not know what to do. I think this is maybe the difference in the two and how they work. But let's keep moving. Let's give one final scenario. Say that you're here in Kidsway's studio, and say that the chairs are all out, and we're trying to get all the chairs out and try to put them back up where they go. Now, if you got the ant, I think the ant is gonna join in and want to help with this task. Maybe fold up the chairs and put them back and try to see how many chairs they can do before the chairs are all put up. But what about the slug? What do you think that person does? See, I think that person might just kind of lay on the floor and say, I need my chair, but since I don't have it, I guess I'll just lay on the floor and wait until my parents come. I think that might be the contrast. That might be the difference between these two types of people. We consider the ant and we consider the slug. We think about the ant and how they might work. They're hard workers. And we think about the slug and how they might work, if they work, because they tend to be a little bit more lazy, or so it seems. So Kidsway, check this out. I want to read that proverb to us again. Chapter 6, verse 6 through 8. This is what it says. It says, take a lesson from the ants, you lazy bones or sluggards. Learn from their way and become wise. Though they have no prince or governor or ruler to make them work, they work hard all summer, gathering food for the winter. Yeah, the ants are really hard workers, and I think we kind of know the difference between somebody who's going to work really hard and somebody who's just going to kind of maybe try, but they'd rather be lazy day after day after day after day. I think those are the two differences. But I want to focus on the ant. I want to focus on the hard worker, and there's something I want to say about that might stop us from maybe trying to work harder, maybe from doing our best. But I need to tell you something. There's a difference from working hard and giving your best and making sure that something is perfect. You see, because sometimes we can maybe want to do something, but we might not think that we're good enough to do that thing, or we might not think that we can do that thing and make it perfect or make it the way that it should be. And those thoughts can kind of stop us from ever doing that thing. But there's something that I want to tell you, and it's a verse in the Bible, and it comes from Colossians chapter 3, verse 23. And this is what it says. It says, work willingly at whatever you do, as though you're working for the Lord rather than for people or even yourself. I'm going to read that verse again. Colossians chapter 3, verse 23. Work willingly at whatever you do, as though you're working for the Lord and not for people. You see, here's the thing. Working hard and giving your best doesn't mean that something's gonna be perfect. Doesn't mean that that thing you're working on is gonna be the best thing ever. It doesn't mean that you're gonna come in first place. It doesn't mean that you're gonna do this and it's gonna be better than everyone else's. Or sometimes it doesn't even mean that that thing that you're working on and giving your best might not even turn out the way that you think it's gonna turn out. But it doesn't mean that we shouldn't work hard and give our best. Colossians 3:23 says, work as though you're working for the Lord. God has given us so much, and He's given us Jesus, and Jesus gave His absolute best. And here's the thing. When you're in relationship with Jesus, when you believe in Jesus and you see Jesus as one of your friends and you love that friend, you want to do the best that you can for that friend. It's the exact same with Jesus. Regardless of the outcome, regardless of how this thing is going to come out and turn out, and regardless of what the result is going to be, you can work hard and give your best. That's the difference that I need to make sure that you know of. It doesn't mean that you're working to make this thing absolutely perfect at the very end. It means that you're working and you're gonna give it your best, just simply because the way that you care for the Lord, because the way that you care for your friend, because the way that you care for your family member, because the way that you care matters. That's the difference. Work as if you're working for the Lord. And if you do that, it makes it so much easier to give your best and to work hard. So Kidsway, that's what I want you guys to think about. Because there's gonna be times where we're asked to do things that we might not really feel like doing, but it doesn't mean that we can't give our best and work hard at it. So Kidsway, would you say our big answer with me? Work hard. Come on, one more time on the count of 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Work hard. Great job. Kidsway, would you guys bow your heads and pray with me as we go into our time of worship? Father, thank you so much for this time today. Lord, I pray that these words would come across as your truths, not just ideas coming from me. Jesus, I lift up every single person that can hear my voice right now, and I pray that you would give us a spirit that works hard, that gives our best, a spirit that isn't afraid of failure or isn't afraid to go out on a limb and do something that people have never seen before. Father, help us to work hard because of our love for you. Would you create a spirit within us? And we need your spirit to help us do that. We thank you so much for the way that you love us, for it can be compared to nothing else that we know. We love you, Jesus, and it's in your name that we pray. And everybody said, amen. What do you say we worship the Lord together in this time in the studio?
You stood before creation, eternity in your hand, and you spoke the earth into motion, my soul now to stand. You stood before my failure and carried the cross for my shame. My sin weighed upon your shoulders, my soul now to stand. So what could I say? What could I do? But offer this heart, oh God, completely to you. So I woke up on salvation, your spirit to declare your promise, my soul now to stand. So what could I say? What could I
Studio, let's be honest. It's a lot easier to be lazy, right? It's a lot easier to do enough just to get by. It takes a little bit harder work to do above and beyond. But trust me and please believe, just as we learned in our proverb about the ant, when you work hard, wisdom comes. When you work hard, your responsibility increases. When you work hard, you're able to accomplish more than you could ever imagine. And there's impact in ways that you wouldn't even see. You can make that type of an impact. You can make a difference in ways that you wouldn't even believe. And it comes through hard work. Kidsway, I'm here to tell you today to always work hard. Always give your best effort no matter what's going on around you. Give it your best and work hard. Kidsway Studio, we love you guys and we thank you for joining us for another Sunday here in Kidsway Studio. Hey, it's been amazing having you. I cannot wait to see you whenever that may be. Shoot us an email, send us a comment down below. But Kidsway, we hope that you're doing good. We love you guys and we cannot wait to see you whenever that may be. Until that time, stay safe, be good, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye.